Hey there, everybody. This is Kristin from Teaching Balance, and I'm here with you with this week's mindfulness meditation practice. So, we are in the month of rest and relaxation. And as I was thinking about, all the different things to possibly work into this month and this theme, one of the things that just came to my mind that I just feel like is a proven winner, as they say with various plants when you go to the garden store. Some of them are called proven winners, apparently. But anyway, the proven winner for relaxation, in my humble opinion, is the body scan. Now, the thing that's going to be a little different, and we're going to get into it pretty quickly, so you might need to pause because I'm going to transition quickly because I have a finite amount of time for these. But basically, the idea is that you just get into a comfortable position. It could be seated, it could be lying down. And then we are just going to use the various parts of your body as the anchor or as the focus of your attention. And what I have found is that it can be extraordinarily grounding and restful. So let's go ahead and just get started. And by the way, this may go over 10 minutes, which is why I'm rushing here a little bit at the beginning. So just so you know, you can figure it out if you look at the time of the video itself, but I wanted to give myself a little more spaciousness. So if you need to get into a laying down position and you're not quite ready, feel free to pause. And as soon as you have found your position, your placement, your posture, let's go ahead and get started. So with your eyes closed or your gaze lowered, just like we always do, I'm going to invite you to begin with some of those long, slow, deep belly breaths. Allowing yourself just to keep deeply breathing in that way for a few more. It's that much more helpful and supportive for this particular practice. And then you can, of course, keep going with the deep breathing, or whenever you're ready, allowing your breathing to resume its natural rhythm. And to begin, I'm going to ask that you rest your attention on your left big foot, or big toe, your left big toe. And if your feet are bare, you might notice how it feels with the air touching it, or if you're wearing a sock, the contact of the sock on your left big toe. And if you're wearing a shoe, you can feel that as well. And then even noticing, can you feel the toenail of your left big toe? You might find that there's quite a bit of sensation, and you might find that there's actually very little unless you wiggle it around. So just noticing that. There's no right way for your toe to feel. And then when you're ready, shifting your attention and expanding it to include the entire left foot. So all the toes, the delicate webbing between the toes, the ball of the foot, the arch, the heel, the top of the foot, all the way up into that ankle joint. And probably the easiest sensation to notice is the external, feeling the contact with whatever your foot might be lying on, the floor, or bed, or an ottoman. Perhaps there's air contact with that left foot, and there might be socks or shoes. But with this part, as well as with all the parts we're going to work through, I'm also going to invite you to allow your awareness to go beyond the external sensations and to explore internal sensations. Can you feel any muscles in the left foot? Bones or joints? You're just noticing. And then when you're ready, we're going to shift our attention from the left foot and we're going to move it into the left leg. So the lower leg, including the shin and the calf, the left knee, the front of the knee, the patella, the back of the knee, and also the left thigh, hamstring, everything that is noticeable for you to observe on that left leg. As with the foot, you may find that external sensation is the easiest thing to observe. But I am going to invite you to explore internally, noticing certainly the muscles of the leg, the bones, the shin bone, the thigh bone, and then the joint in the left leg. Noticing the angle of your knee, and as you continue to explore any sensation in that left leg, if here or any of the future areas that we rest our attention on, if you notice that there's any quality of discomfort, I want that to just be another part of your observation. We'll go a little deeper on that as we continue, but legs and knees often come with a little bit of that spiciness. When you're ready, I'm going to ask you to release your attention on the left leg, and now on the right side, we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to begin like we did on the left with the right big toe. And this time noticing, if you haven't already wiggled it, can you feel it without the wiggle? Can you feel the pad on the bottom of your right big toe, the top of the toe, where it meets the foot? And then expanding, as we did, to include the entire right foot, every toe, every toenail, every toe joint, all the bones in the feet as they extend up toward the ankle. Noticing what's easy to observe and what's not so easy. Is it easier to feel your arch than your heel, or vice versa? And is there any sensation that might be observable in the interior of your right foot? And then when you're ready, releasing your attention on the right foot and shifting it into the right leg, just as we did on the left side. From the lower leg into the upper leg, all the way into that right hip socket. And if it's helpful to you, I'm going to have you perhaps compare sensation in this right leg with what you can also notice in the left. Are they positioned similarly or differently? Does one feel like it's easier to notice sensation in than the other? Is your weight distributed equally on both sides? And allowing yourself to delve inside so many large muscles, bones, tendons, connective tissue. What can you notice? And then when you're ready, releasing your attention on the right leg. And now we're going to shift into the lower torso. So the hips, the glutes, the pelvic floor, the lower abdomen, lower back, the sides, hips. If you're sitting upright, you may notice where your lower body is making contact with the chair or the cushion. If you're laying down, there's less weight distributed there, and it's more equally distributed between your lower body and your upper torso. Noticing your alignment. And you don't need to change anything. This isn't about optimal posture or optimizing anything. But I think it's just interesting to see what's going on. If one hip is hiked a little higher or one glute is a little tenser. And of course, there's the internal organs, the digestive system, whatever you can notice that might be going on. Maybe a quality of emptiness if you're hungry, or fullness if you've just eaten. And then gradually, if you haven't already, shifting your awareness up into the upper torso. So from that mid-waist, now we're dealing with ribs, lungs, diaphragm, the heart. Can you actually feel your heart beating in your chest? Maybe you can and maybe you can't. The expansion and contraction with each breath, whether subtle or obvious. And also the contact of clothing. If you're laying down, contact with the ground, or if you're sitting up and leaning back, contact with the chair or a wall. And of course, everything is to be observed with this quality of neutrality. You are just the objective observer of the experience, like a scientist making notes on a clipboard. You don't have to tell the story to yourself about why something's happening or how you feel about it. For our purposes right now, you're just noticing. And when you're ready, shifting your attention to notice what sensations you can observe in both arms and hands at the same time. Might be a little tricky to hold them all in your awareness at once, but from the tips of your fingers, through all the finger joints, fingernails, knuckles, your palms, the back of the hand, the wrist, the forearm, the elbow, the biceps and triceps, all the way up into your shoulders and your shoulder sockets. What can you notice? Contact with clothing, contact with the air, maybe some aches and pains. And if that's the case, playing with that a little bit and seeing what is the boundary of that area of discomfort. It's not your whole body, so where does this discomfort cease to happen? What's the outline of it? And what quality does it have? Is it a hot quality of pain or discomfort? Is it a numbness? Is it achy or sharp? And then when you're ready, releasing your attention on the hands and arms and moving up into the neck and continuing upward into the back of the head, around the top, including the forehead, the jaw, and the entire face. If you're laying down, noticing the contact of the back of your head with the floor or bed beneath you. If you're sitting upright, noticing what muscles are engaged to hold your head in this position. And also noticing the muscles of the jaw. Are they engaged to hold your mouth closed? Are they relaxed to allow your jaw to hang slack or somewhere in between? The muscles around the eyes, cheeks. Feeling what your eyes feel like in their sockets. And what your tongue feels like as it rests in your mouth. And then when you're ready, releasing this attention on the neck and head and face and going to the very top of the head, the crown. I'd like you to notice if there's any sensation in the crown. And then very, very gradually, I'd like for you to slowly scan your attention downward. You could think about it as a warm beam of light from the top of your head, scanning downward through the face, the neck, the shoulders, chest, abdomen, hips, upper legs, lower legs, all the way down to the feet and wherever they're making contact with the ground beneath you. And as you make this connection to the earth, allowing yourself to hold your body in its entirety in your awareness until you hear the final bell. Thank you so much for taking this time for yourself, and thank you for allowing me to accompany you on this journey. And I will see you next week. Take care. Bye.